pictures. I love that I'm working on call dance and my magnifying glass is making it look like I have a sensor bar. There's really nothing there. Um, it's really rather funny that it looks like I have a sensor bar. La la la. So today we are working on Captain Penis. We're working on a dark green. The number's 890. My brain just kind of froze there. And it's a majorly large grape leaf that we're working on. It has been forever and a half since I've actually made any progress on Captain Penis. I had hoped to reach 4% 2 months ago, and he's close, but he's not quite there. My goal for today, because this is a interesting, it's not a block color because I do have to pay attention because there's lots of gaps in the leaf color, but I'm hoping for 200 stitches, maybe more. And I am sorry for the late start. I had to put myself together. AKA I had to let my meds kick in because I am, for what little they're working, they are working on my mood. That's about it. And as long as I don't get too kerfluffled, I'll be fine. Yeah, after work, I got home. I was awake for like maybe half an hour. I took a shower and I laid down and I went to sleep. I am pooped. It has been a wild first week back, but life is what happens when we're too busy making plans. So I try to plan the best I can while I'm running through it. Yeah, Discord. I still have not fully processed Discord. Um, because with the Irish and the Puerto Rican, my boom is not fun to deal with, externally or internally. So I curbed it pretty good. I'm still trying to defuse the bomb there, so we're gonna not talk about it because we don't want that boom. Nobody wants that boom. Especially since I'm already emotionally dysregulated and my meds aren't working quite as well as they normally do because I'm female. And all of the drugs were worked on were with men. So I'm trying real hard. I am trying to be a good girl, even though like I really love it's like right there, right, like I'm wearing a bit more of a showy shirt today because when I got out of my shower last night, I just needed clothing and I had the opportunity to change today, but no, because I already have to change for work, and I'm the kind of gal. I have a lot of clothes. I will be the first one to tell you I have a lot of clothes. I have a lot of junky, grungy work clothes. I have a lot of pretty froofy girly clothes, and then I have a lot of in between, just kind of potato clothes. And I don't understand the people who can change 5 times a day. I get dressed, and that is what I'm going to be in for a good long time. Now, I change for work, but that's because I'm going to be in those clothes for 8 hours. When I get home from work, I try not to get too messy, so I don't have to change out of my work clothes. But it's also 11 at night, so it's a lot easier. Yeah, that's a different that's a different well, I mean, it is call dance, so call dance has a different vibe to it, but and once we actually start seeing a little bit more of Dionysus, um I think when I get to the mythical page of his member, it's gonna go we're gonna do that page, because funny, it is an entire page. It is 6 inches. That's how big that this member is. I measured. I'm sorry, I measured. Um, it is an entire page, and an entire this entire height right here is 6 inches. So with the page that his member is on, I might push that back to after work just for that page, because that's not more daytime viewing.
My mind is like a hive. The thoughts intrusive
Like,
are just
yeah,
bees
I
to stay
I know
alive.
scale is hard to provide on these projects.
They
Uh,
collide within my mind, and I struggle to think with my thoughts in a bind, and I push to the brink, hopeless,
Bleh.
lost in
Uh,
thought I wander.
but
Down a
like
path of
Buffalo
dreaming
Woman
world, where
was,
complexity leads me
I
apart.
think she finished out
My
at
destiny and emotions were apart.
25 and a quarter and
Though the pain
across
can get overwhelming,
inches. I'm sorry,
the
my
inspiration
spoons do
remains
not
unfailing.
have
I
the metric
believe in you.
transaction today, the metric conversion today. 25 and a quarter inches, and then she was
So
35
I embrace the bees with
and a
open
half
arms,
inches
ready to be
tall.
insane. For in the
So,
chaos,
I
I
mean, these
learn to
projects are
confront
not
the
small.
beauty and complexity of my inner terrain. You will never understand that this is my role, and I have chosen to embrace the swarm, the swarm, the swarm, the swarm, the swarm, the swarm,
I have not gotten a new med, and I am grateful for that, because it is hard enough. Like, my meds are a house of cards, much like everybody else's meds. But we have to work with Diane, my lovely diabetes, because sometimes she makes my life hell when I get new meds. Mhm. Ah, oh, um, I'm familiar with Farsiga. Um, I work with meds professionally. And one of the things that is part of my profession that a lot of us forget, um, within my field, is we're supposed to know what all of the meds do. Now, we don't have to necessarily know their conflicts and stuff like that, but we do have to know what type of med it is. Is it an anti-diabetic pill? Is it a statin? It is a anticoagulant. What does the pill do? And admittedly, there are still a couple of pills that I administer that I forget what they do. But I Google it fast enough. But I see a lot of the same pills over and over and over again. So it's kind of like, um, I get frustrated sometimes with how some doctors prescribe meds, like saying the pantoprazole, which is an antacid. It's like your omeprazole. It's your Nexium. Those level. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember if I know I took my meds. I'm just trying to remember. I think I still have my GERD. I'll find out in a few hours. But like when a doctor overprescribes the dose of a med that exceeds its efficacy, like I take pantoprazole because I have my hiatal hernia and it helps my stomach not try to eat my esophagus. And its efficacy is 40 milligrams. Taking any more is not going to help you. Take it in the morning, take it in the night, take it with or without food. It's a very versatile med. But there are doctors who will be like, no, take it 30 minutes before food. And I know that they're trying to like reduce the amount of stomach acid in the stomach before people eat. I get that. But at the same time, it's not a requirement of the med. And it just makes it hard because as a med tech, I have to follow what the doctor writes. So if they say take 30 minutes before food, it gets very frustrating, and timing is always interesting. Ooh. the Dapo. Okay, so with Farxiga, what most anti-diabetic meds do is they actually activate and target your liver, because your liver, I'm trying to drag this up in my not all awake brain. So like I'm gonna use metformin because I completely know what metformin does, because that's one of the most popular ones over here. It activates your liver to stop producing sugar, and to be more open to the absorption of insulin, because with type 2 diabetes, and if you're pre-diabetic, this is something that it's the studies are ongoing, but it's more of a insulin resistance kind of thing. Insulin has problems getting through fat. That's why with type 1s, they tell you to inject your insulin into fat so it disperses slowly. That's why when you get a sugar crash, you need to drink milk. You need to have a fatty protein in addition to your carbs, because it holds up your sugar. Fat holds up your blood sugar. That is why it is assumed that people who are overweight and diabetic, it's because they're fat. That is why. It's because fat blocks the absorption of insulin. And the anti-diabetic drugs attach to your liver to stop sugar production so that your body can utilize the insulin that it is producing in a more effective manner. And the Farxiga just kind of amplifies that. And I want people to know, because I currently am in a battle with a doctor who swears up and down that you can give type 1 diabetics meds like metformin, Januvia, the Farxiga, the Tresiba. You can't. Type 1 diabetics, that's not their issue. It's that their pancreas is not creating the proper beta cells to utilize the insulin. And that is the big difference. Is with type 2, it is an insulin resistance where the body, for whatever reason, has decided that, boo, insulin is bad. With type 1s, it is the pancreas is not creating the appropriate cells, and the immune system is attacking what insulin cells are getting out. And that's the key difference. And medication other than insulin will not treat it. And I'm going to preface this with, I am not a doctor. I am simply someone who has survived type 1 diabetes for 28 years. In August, my diabetes turned 28. That's why she got her name at 18. Diane is what I call her, because at this point in time, like the studies that are like, oh, there's a cure, they're working on a cure for type 1. As much as I would love it, I would much rather have a cure for celiac disease, so I can actually afford to eat. Um, but with the diabetes, I would have to sit and think about it, because I've just gotten so accustomed to dealing with it that I don't know, like my anxiety would trip off not having to take care of it anymore. If you're on any sort of statins, take your statins at nighttime, because when you go to bed, that's when your liver is the most active, is at night. So I on Crestor because it does, I don't have an allergic reaction to it. The Lipitor has a lactic acid allergy that is very hard to diagnose, but when you're on it, it feels like all your muscles are on fire. And that's because it's an allergic reaction creating lactic acid that sits on your muscles. That's that burning sensation when you run and you're like, oh my god, my legs are on fire. That's lactic acid. And Lipitor, there's that allergy that I just happen to have. Atafostatin. And again, I will destroy the names of these meds. I am keeping an eye on the studies that they're doing on gabapentin, because I do have a lot of residents who are on gabapentin, but I haven't been paying enough attention to be able to speak on what is going on with that, other than they are doing studies about gabapentin and its effects on memory. Well, I try to know my shit, because the residents that I work with, they don't always remember. Like it's hello. Well, and Hutchie's on gabapentin, neurotonin. So I'm also trying to learn so I can understand and give any warnings out. But I'm not strong enough in that area yet. Have a good night. Like if you do think, like if your muscles are achy and you're on and you think you might have the allergy, but like for whatever reason you can't get off the Lipitor, if you take Cosequin actually counteracts the lactic acid that builds up on your muscles. That's why it's actually good for your heart, because your heart pumping naturally builds up lactic acid because your heart is always going. So the Cosequin is good for your heart, but it really just takes the lactic acid off your muscles. And honestly, I'm still, even though I'm not on Lipitor anymore, I'm still on Cosequin, because honestly it helps with my body aching, which is why I know that was not 100% the Lipitor that was causing me to hurt. That just might be a pinched nerve, maybe. I don't know. I'm not totally good in all the areas. I'm really good with meds and what they do and how to baseline counteract what they do. I know if you need calcium and you don't need a lot of calcium, you can take Tums, because Tums is also calcium, and because of how it is made, it actually absorbs into your body better than the honkin' pills that you get for calcium. Does it feel like pins and needles? Um, because I have my hands, and my doctors say it's not neuropathy because neuropathy always starts on the feet, and they can fuck off all the way. They can fuck all the way off. But my hands, and it's the same with my tremor. They're like, no, no, that's not real. Ooh, talking of my tremor, I shouldn't have mentioned its name. It's not old enough. It doesn't have a name yet. But it for me it's just like, it's not pins and needles for my arms. It's just kind of just goes numb, like numb. I'll be fine, and then all of a sudden nothing. Ooh, yeah. When I was training to be a lifeguard at the young age of 36, I my arms, ooh, and I can still do it. Ooh, like my shoulders crack and pop and snap and stuff. It's because when I was in my mid-20s, I got hit by a truck, and it misaligned some muscle. And I had to do PT, and that was personal torture. And we had to, through massage and exercises, we moved the muscle back over to where it was so I could have my upward stroke arms. And this shoulder is the one that's bad, is my right shoulder, funny enough. It still snap, crackles, and pops, but it doesn't hurt as much. But oh, you were in the room next to me when the second I lifted it up. It was like, you're doing this to me this early in the morning? Well, you can always transfer it over to your right, see if it works, and not have to pay the PT extra. Well, okay, I'm sorry. I forget you're over in Europe and you have like that whole universal healthcare thing. It was very, very, very expensive for me to get my shoulder fixed. My PT crew was awesome and they deserved every penny. But at the same time, my wallet cried for a month. And if it starts to work, like if you start to see results, you can always just mention like, hey, I'm having this on, I've been having issues on my right side, and I did the exercises and it seems to be working, just so like they're aware. Um, I like keeping like, I am my own best science experiment. I do things to myself that would make some people's hair curl. Um, but it's always in a very controlled environment. I have worked with myself long enough that I know what I can and cannot do, and I do not push. I maybe nudge, but I do not push. If I can expand, then I will. It's like with my hypermobility. Like, I can bend. I can't always do it on my own, but I'm pretty flexible. I'm pretty flexible for my age. Where is Jay when you need him? Like, I am rolling in naughty, and there's only a few people here to enjoy it. I mean, I'm wearing a tank top that says geek. It says geek on it. It's geek with a Mickey. It's geek with an older Mickey on it. I'm so glad. I have tomorrow off. Um, I have tomorrow off, but I also have eye pokies. I have eye pokies at 8:15, so it's a mixed bag. I'll wake up. I'll take my meds and some Tylenol. I'll get my eye poke. I'll do the sleepy nappy thing, maybe. And then I'll have stream with Death later on in the evening. But I have to work this weekend, but it's also going to be rainy this weekend, so I'm not sad. We need the rain, and it's going to be rainy, and I have to work, so I'm not going to be sad about it, because I'm really hoping that my craft fair will have a nice sunny. So we have a resident who, she's kind of mean. Like, she's not snooty, she's just mean. And she's finally, like, kind of, like, she's getting over her. Yeah. So she's mean. There's no beating the bush. There's no being polite about it. She's a cranky, mean lady. And she's slowly starting to warm up to me. It's kind of like that feral cat that you keep trying to get closer to you, and the day that they just kind of come up and let you pet them, like it's kind of nice. Not gonna lie. And so I was telling her, I'm like, yeah, I have Friday off, but I got to get my eye poked. And she's like, oh, I'm like, yeah, I have retinopathy, and it gets kind of crappy as I get closer to my procedure date. And she's like, well, what do you do? I'm like, well, I get a shot in my eye. And she cringes. I'm like, I've been doing it for close to 8 years now, and it's just something you get used to. She's like, I don't think I could ever get used to something like that. I'm like, well, if I was 20 years older, I might just let it degenerate, but at the same time, it's not that bad. They numb you up real good. And she's like, well, they'd have to numb all of me. And I just laugh, because it's genuine when you learn that I've been taking eye shots every 10 to 12 weeks for the past 8 years. It's cringeworthy. Like when you stop and you think about it, it's gross. Like, and I can only imagine what the procedure looks like from the outside. Yesterday, I got all of my, I want to say I got 99.9%, because I'm looking over at my wall of yarn on spikes. I got most of my variegated yarn pulled from all of my bins, and I put them in other bins. Like, I took yarn that was in bins, and I just kind of replaced and reorganized, I guess, is the words I'm looking for. And I have a drawer, 2 drawers, one really big drawer, one small drawer, and the bought like 1 or 2 levels of a smaller, oh my goodness, a smaller tote of variegated yarn. And I'm already super excited about what projects I can do with them, because they're not massive amounts. I have a couple of skeins that I bought new just for me. But for the most part, it was from my first yarn collection rescue. And so I'm trying to decide what I want to do with that, but I am sorting the colors. Like I'll be finding the reds, and then I'll be going through the rainbow. I have so much black and white. That's why like I dye yarn, because I have so much of the black and the white yarn. And that's why the stock baby dragons are black and white and they're solid color. But yeah, I'm working through it. I'm getting a lot of grays too. Hello, Sume. Okay. We're gonna go down and then over here. There's this. Oh yes, well, so I've gone through 4 rounds of laser work to seal the blood vessels in the back of my eye from the retinopathy. Like the eye injections maintain the work that the laser did, and I need, and that's just like the kind of that's kind of the thing. My brain wandered off. Yeah, I've had easily, because like each section got anywhere from 1,100 to 1,500 laser hits each quadrant of my eye to seal up the blood vessels. So I've had that done, and yeah, I've done a lot to keep my vision, and it's still kind of crappy. But whenever I walk into an eye doctor, I get like it unless it's the eye shot, my eyes get dilated. Like there's no ands, if, buts, or maybes about it. Between the astigmatism, the diabetes, and the retinopathy, I also have cataracts that are slowly starting to form because those run in my family. But they also have to make sure that I'm not gonna get anything else. I do have loose lenses. Like my eyesight is one of the things I work the hardest to keep. No, pig. I have a crying dog in the background. Yeah, see? Hey. She's abused. That's my guardian. Everybody needs happy wags. I know, it's awful to be the pig. It is. It is. It's awful. It is. It's awful to be Pixie. Pet the dog break. Yeah, you guys can see all of the hot mess. Like, yes, I know, you're so abused. You are. Okay, lay down. I am glad that you like the Wolfie. I'm experimenting with another one for a coworker. It was honestly, it was super hard to find a Wolfie pattern that I liked. Because I'm very, very picky. So yeah, right now she's being a good puppy. I needed Captain Peanuts today because I'm so I love Divine Instinct, don't get me wrong, but I'm so tired of 939. I still have so much of it left. He's something. Actually, I'm close to being done the column that I'm working in. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna go before you stop, before you violate some community guideline. I'm looking at the tension on my scroll frame, and because I like to search for like cross stitch accessories, I saw an interesting frame that I'm pretty sure I can make myself, and I'm gonna try to. But what it is it's um like you have the scroll bars that I have, but instead of the solid frame that I currently have, it's on a screw system, which I don't have any within reach of me. But like the screw rod you can get at a hardware store, and it turns them out so like if a project's not square or it's not lined up square, which let's be fair, none of mine are. um I have opinions in the background, but it makes it so you can turn it up so there's proper tension on all four corners instead of having to guess. So, Kelpie, since you're the only one, the only one being chatty today, um, you're stuck with me. I'm pondering whether or not I want to keep going down because this area down here also has some of the green. There's some from the column before, or if I just want to continue on the main part of the big leaf and pick up the stragglers later. I'll probably go down. I like I like the no idea. It kind of works. Well, hopefully everybody's getting the rest and the care that they need for themselves. Um, my rest and care involves therapeutically stabbing things. I know that after stream today, I'm probably just gonna sit and work on my my plushie Awu, and I hate working with plushie fur. I hate working with plushie yarn. That's why I do the style of crochet that I do. Is I have no interest in plushies. The yarn. I love the texture. I love touching the plushie yarn. I don't like working with the plushie yarn. Um, we're wandering into one of the zones where I fucked up my count, so we're gonna see how well this works. And because a lot of this is background, like when I Well, the the Scottish and the Irish are very strong. Like that's a good portion of like some of my relatives come from the Isle of Skye. Like I have pinpointed relatives currently alive in the Isle of Skye. Um, gotta love me my genome link. Yeah. So with DNA testing and whatnot, everyone's like, "Aren't you worried about your privacy?" I'm like, dude, if my genetic makeup can help someone, please steal it, take it, look at it, come ask me questions. I will talk your ear off about what I go through, what I experience. You know, I'd be even game to try out some meds and whatnot. If my journey can prevent other people from having to go through what I went through in the diagnostic process, come at me, bro. And I don't I maybe it's just I'm weird like that. So like I when 23andMe's like, oh my goodness, they're selling your information. I'm like, can I have a cut maybe? Like, why do you get to have all the money? I paid you. Like, how about you pay me? Because yeah. um yeah, I do not like myself when I am upset because of the nature of how I pay attention. I notice things that people are self-conscious about. I notice the little things. I notice the twitches, the ticks, the avoidance. So when I get mad, I have a sharp tongue and I will use your weaknesses against you. And through my journey, I've learned to curb that. But at the same time, it is an active process. It's one of those tasks that is active in my brain to curb. And that's why when my sugar crashes and I get mean and I say awful things, that's because that task has exceeded the limits of my body and it got shut down. So I am very mindful of that. And it's not a task and it's not a talent that is easy to acknowledge. It's even harder to curb. So when I don't say something, immediately know that I am taking the time to be appropriate and measured in my words to get my point across without having to be a bad person about it. Being mean is easy. Being kind is a weird dynamic because we need each other. But at the same time, we're very, at least here in America, I can't speak for other areas, but here in America, we are very self-centered. It takes a lot of work. And sometimes I allow myself to be self-centered, but a lot of the time I'm very altruistic in my thoughts and actions. And that's just how I am. I have no regrets for thinking of others and making sure other people are okay. But at the same time, I need to be better at taking care of me. And that's something that is a hard skill to have, because my overthinking thought right now is, if English would work, existence sucks right now. No one has anything going on that's easy. No one has anything going on that's, unless you're a billionaire. And if you're a billionaire and you're watching my stream, the entirety of my debt is less than $500,000. If you could, like, we can talk. All of my debt, and then I'll still be a productive member of society. That's the thing, is even if I got rich, I would still work, and I would make sure my community was brought up with me. And Powerball over here in the States is $1.5 billion right now. So I need to remember to buy tickets for stuff like that, because the next drawing is Saturday. But that's also part of the problem. It's like everybody now is hoping to win the money. So it just keeps getting bigger. And I try to take that into consideration. We're here to kvetch, but kvetching, the definition is telling your sorrows in a humorous and fun way that does not make people, it's not trying to make people feel bad, but just trying to let people know as to what's going on in your life and why you might be cranky. It's venting, it's letting that steam out, and everybody needs to let the steam out. I do it. I try to keep it to things that people aren't going to worry about me about, and I try to keep it so that I can include others, because everybody has stuff going on. Like, everybody, all the people have shit going on, and it sucks. I get it. So I try to keep that in mind when I'm facing public. Behind the scenes, I bitch like a son of a bitch. Bitch. And I have no regrets most of the time. Mhm. I managed to spit on my sensor bar. That's the hard thing about having that looking in the magnifying glass and talking. That when I get super excited, I missed it. Now, oh my goodness. And most of the time I can't see it, but I looked back and I caught some, and I was like, nope, we're not having this. I was telling my boss that I hate uttering the words, "It's not my job." I also hate uttering the words, "It's not fair," because my "it's not fair" might be different than someone else's "it's not fair." My breaking point, I know for a fact, is way different than a lot of other people's breaking points. And bitching is a subjective hobby, because there's opinions, there's thoughts, there's missing information, and I always try to preface my bitching with, I know this isn't like, I just try to preface my bitching. It's a lot of it's I just need to get this out of my system, and that's a lot of what my bitching is. Is I'm an audio processor, and it's kind of why I like having residents with dementia, is they forget that I said something, so I get to do it again. I'm sorry, I'm a bad person, but it's so true. I don't have Halo. We need to make one for horns. But a lot of where I'm coming from is also a lot of working on me, a lot of hard work on me, a lot of working in mental health and helping other people through their shit, and in turn it kind of helps me get through my shit. It's not easy work, it's hard work, because a lot of it is looking at, what is my goal in saying these words and in putting this out into the world? What is my goal here? And that's a lot of measured thinking that takes a lot of work, and sometimes I will ask myself, if I say this, I know what's going to happen because I have amazing pattern recognition. I know what's going to happen. What is the benefit of saying this thing down the line? And sometimes the benefit is not there. It is simply something that will hurt someone and potentially irreparably damage a relationship. Now, and that's where I take the time to pause. That is when I pause, because I will find a way to say what I need to say in a way that can be worked on relationship building. It's not that I didn't notice it. It's not that I didn't have a reaction. It is because I have worked so hard for so long that I'm not going to damage what I have for a moment of instant gratification. And sometimes that is the hardest thing to work on and tell other people how that works, because a lot of people see my grace for inaction, and it's not. There's plenty of action going on. Plenty of action going on. But patience and grace are things that the world needs a little bit more of. And they're two very hard skills to. Oh. And actually, that's a really good. And I'm being very subversive today, but I do sincerely hope that my point is getting across. How did I? Yeah, okay.
information, and we have gone unheard. Act like our existence is something quite absurd. We shall go the distance, we will not go unheard. Hold us down in torture, you barely said a word. But now the time has come, we will not go unheard. Ask now for forgiveness, our wrath you have incurred. Stand aside and witness, we will not go.
Yeah, I've been without therapy for a month too, and after about a month I start getting really ants in my pants. Because while I do a lot of talk therapy, it helps me. My therapist is where I go to audio process. Um, it's hard to explain, but there are just some things that I feel bad about burdening other people with. So my therapist, I have that boundary. I give her money. She listens to my shit. And as giggle worthy as that is, that's how my brain works. I am paying her for her service. I'm paying her for her to listen to me bitch. Like deep down, dark level bitch. So I don't feel bad about it. So it gets it out of my system. I love how on YouTube it just prints out lizard, 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 lizard. Oh my goodness. I'm still trying to curb myself, so that is about as riled as I will get for today. Dragon, do you like my sensor bar? My magnifying glass? Even though it's just crossing out geek. It's just crossing out geek right there, but it's my sensor bar. I was reading an article this morning about how knitters are getting upset because the de minimis has been eradicated, and so now like getting European yarn is super expensive. And mind you, an hour away there's an amazing yarn store where there's llama, there's alpaca, there's sheep. It's all handmade in Maine. Like I guess in Maine, like if I want hand spun yarn, I know like 5 farmers who have sheep, and their significant others or friends or family members make the yarn. I don't even need it colored because I am talented enough that I can just color it to what I want, which is kind of what I'm thinking about doing, is getting some white wool and doing some fun colors. Okay, you're fine. No, you're fine, baby. No, you are fine. Pixie's trying to argue with me that she's not fine. Okay, back up to the top. Back up to the top. Let's see if I can move my... She is being abused. I'm not rubbing her tummy, like I'm not paying the tummy tax. I'm not trying to leave the room, so I don't see why I need to pay the tummy tax. Either that or she's just having a conversation with herself. Which has also been known to happen. We don't judge here. That's fair. That's fair. Oh, ads. And I remembered why I wasn't going down past here in these columns. It's because of this mess up here. So the count's off. So I'm waiting till I actually I reach a point in this color where it goes down, and then I can appropriately count the spots. Because I'm trying to contain the error, because if I don't contain it, it travels, and then I'm spending the entire row adjusting for that one small error, and I'm not sure where the error is, and I will be damned if I'm going back and finding it. So I'm just trying to mitigate the damage. 4, 6. Well, it's because I've been on. I dragged out my soapbox, so I dragged out my soapbox and I started standing on it, and then I started talking, and yeah. I don't think so. I'm not that good. I'm sorry. I had to upgrade. If it makes you feel anybody, I actually had to upgrade to 11 for the same reasons. It was blue screen of deathing me. No, Cesar, go lay down. Go lay down. I still have a whole hour if I so choose. No, go lay down. I made it so he can't pee on the couch right now. Oh, thank you. I forget to do stuff like that. the new present system is active. So when you put in for presents, you'll get to help me make a limited edition, aka only one, crochet project. Now, I think I'm gonna have to limit it down into the Megan lap patterns that I have, the Crafty Intentions pattern. So that's my meadow dragons, my newborn dragons. I have salamanders, I have goldfish, I have butterflies. So I got plenty of options, and you and I will work together if you win presents, and we'll create one, and it will go up for sale on the store with a designer credit from you, and all that kinds of fun, because I can't afford to ship internationally currently, and honestly that's where a good portion of my peeps are from. Like easily 50% of the people that watch and participate are Canadian. I got Hutchie and Kelpie from Scotland and Australia, but most of my other international folks are Canadian. Which a couple of them I could drive to the border and huck it over, or pass it over gently through a border gate. And I'd probably get there faster than trying to mail it. Yes. I have a sneaking suspicion he just peed on something. He's coming back from downstairs. Cesar, lay down. And I swear to Christ, if you peed on something, we're gonna have words later. Oh no, it was Pixie who was downstairs. Okay, Cesar was being a good boy and laying down behind me. So if there's pee downstairs, it was Pixie. And yes, dual streaming tomorrow. 6:37, somewhere in that ballpark. I'll poke her today for a time. And if you're here, you're here. You have, like, I fully encourage and support, both in real life and in virtual world. You and your family come first. I got most of this. Could I struggle? Probably, but I'll get most of it. I'm looking at some of my shelving and going, I really hope that doesn't fall. Mostly because it's questionable right now. I'm gonna have to get the pliers. I can see that 3 of the 4 sides are fine, but it's still questionable. honestly, with as much talking as I've done today, I'm gonna be surprised if I got much more than 100 stitches done. I have been keeping track, but I haven't actually looked at how much I've gotten done. I think I'm only gonna go till I'm done this piece of string,
We stand here together,
which is a couple more rows,
as one.
but
One tribe. A feeling from deep inside. A sense of victory and euphoria. Look at us.
getting done this piece of string, I'll be able to do a couple of the on my own colors. Because I always feel bad when I make progress on one of the bigger colors, and I still have the massive list of all by myself.
Stand together.
Okay.
Together.
Yeah. This row that I'm working on is going to be my last row for the day. It's just a straight row of 10.
We stand here together, united as one. One tribe. This is our destiny.
And we get to play thread chicken too, because I'm not sure I have enough to make that. But I'm going to try.
Stand together. Together as one. Look at us now. Release the energy. Together as one.
Oh, I did have enough thread, but that is the end of that piece of thread. So I'll mark that down. I'll give you some stats, and then we will go on our merry way. And my dogs are going to go bananas because they know all my catchphrases. All like 5 of them that I have. Okay, so we started off today at, what did we? I think 3.93%. We are currently at 3.98%. Ooh, tomorrow we're going to hit 4%. Woo! I've only been chasing that goal for a month. Got 191 stitches done. Oh, I guess that is the trigger phrase. So I want everybody to drink your water, take your meds, stay cool. Pixie! They're all excited. So, be kind to yourself without harming others. Be kind to others without harming yourself. I'm going to go beat some dogs because she just barked in front of the door where husband creature is sleeping. I love you all, and I will see you all tomorrow. I'll get a time going on. I'll tell you the time dragon. And I love you all. Thank you for the gift.